Well, I just pulled up to the rink. I think you might like tonight's kit, but welcome back. I wore this gear this last winter on the outdoor rink, and I went into a lot of detail about the pads and the gloves. So I'm not going to really talk too much about that part for this video, but I will put a link to that up there in the corner and down below in the description. And if you want to go watch the beginning of that video where I talk about the gear, you'll know a little bit more detail there. I am going to talk a little bit about the concept of the original Dura soft pads and a first-time experience I had with those in this particular game. So those are roughly 1987-88 Cooper GP59L original Durasoft pads. And the original Durasoft, which I talk about in that other video, is more of a suede type material. Basically, a synthetic leather like a Durasoft, Clarino, Gen Pro, whatever, is a synthetic fiber fabric that is then coated with a polyurethane type skin to it that has the color and so on. The original Durasoft didn't have that skin to it, so it was just the fibrous synthetic cloth material. It wasn't a very great idea, but it did spawn the evolution of what we basically use today in goalie gear. So I'll touch upon that in just a minute. We have the GM31 catch glove, which in that other video I talk about the fact I believe that may be a custom. It has some features to it that don't show up in the catalogs, and I really talk about that in detail in the other video. And then the GM12 blocker there, which is pretty much your standard blocker. The gloves would be roughly from like 1988, 89, 90 maybe, primarily because the gloves didn't come out in synthetic until 88's catalog. Super light GL stick. It is natural wood, and it does have white graphic with blue outline, and it does have a blue Cooper logo down here as well, though I have some tape wrapped around it because there was some nicking of the edges there on the paddle, and I just wanted to protect it a little better. Did that a long time ago. Really, the couple things I have to talk about for this video that I haven't really mentioned in the past are going to be that jersey and that combo. So we'll move on to that right now. The combo this week, SK300 with an original version of the Cat Eye HM30 cage. So this is the detail I want to spend a little time talking about. In 1974, the HM30 cage was actually not a cat eye cage. It was a lot more like my HM200 cage with straight bars and kind of a squatty cage. And then in 1975, they modified it. It became a completely different looking cage, and it became this version of the HM30. You'll notice it does not have the U or a double bar Y. So the way this was designed to be mounted was with a metal bracket there that traps the top bar and pinches it against the ridge and the flatness of the forehead. This helmet I recently acquired from my friend Matt. Thanks, Matt. It's probably not the safest of the vintage plastic helmet style to wear as a goalie. It does have a very large flat forehead to it there. But this was packaged and sold as a goalie helmet with a combo. So a couple details to know about. Oftentimes, when these show up in the wild, that chin pad will actually say HM330. And that's because, just like nowadays, if you go to the sporting goods store and you look for a helmet and a cage, you can buy a helmet and you can buy a cage, or you can buy a pre-packaged cage with a helmet. And those are literally combination packages. And Cooper did that. The thing about it is when they would pre-package an HM300 with an HM HM330, they would call the model an HM330, and they would put that model number on the chin pad. You could buy the cage standalone, you could buy the helmet standalone, but if you bought it as a kit, that came with the HM330 stamp on it. I enjoyed wearing this helmet. I loved the vision out of it. I loved the feeling of wearing this helmet. I may enhance my collection of HM300s just to start putting more of these together. So the helmet itself is what I started with for this whole kit, and since I'm a pretty big Trailer Park Boys fan, and I actually just restarted watching the entire series from the beginning, and Bubbles was famous for wearing SK300 helmet, and hockey was a recurring theme in the show, I decided I would go ahead and put together my own custom Sunnyvale jersey. I had this blank jersey, I've had it kicking around forever. Basically what I did was, I did a bunch of real close looking, figured out the closest font, and then did up the graphics in heat transfer vinyl. I also recreated the assistant captain, alternate captain A, to represent as close as I could permanent hockey tape on there, because that's what it looked like in the show. They just used hockey tape, and so you can get that overlap at the top. I actually did it as 3 separate pieces that I heat applied as if I was putting 3 separate pieces of tape on there. That was the jersey, tied the theme all together. I think it actually ended up looking pretty darn cool. So just to finish up and touch base on the pads, what I mentioned at the beginning, something I experienced this time that I've never experienced to this level at all. And that is, in this video you will see the common memory complaint everyone has of this type of pad is that they stuck to the ice. And I've never really experienced that. I've experienced tons of buildup of snow and ice on the pad material. And anyway, I stuck to the ice in this game. Both pads, the knee rolls, stuck to the ice. And you can actually see here a pretty good piece of material hanging here, pulled loose. It was actually my right pad that literally left imprint of 3 knee rolls on the ice. I couldn't just like get up. I had to really pull my leg and rip myself loose from the ice. It was such a weird panic mode feeling to have that happen. And then I had to scrape that material out of the ice real quick. Otherwise, it could have caused somebody some problems, maybe even myself. I never had that happen before. Most likely, I'm going to retire these pads to the shelf. We'll see. I don't want to get stuck, peel this off, and then deer hair just starts falling everywhere during my game. So that's the talk about the gear. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. If you got any comments or questions or want to talk about the gear or my gameplay, feel free to leave comments down below. Share the video with anybody you think might enjoy seeing it. And as always, thank you.
Let's go get ready. Straight up out the trailer park, Sunnyvale to be exact. Zero after 1.
Three to one after two. Four to one win. Hey, great game though, man. Great game. Great game. Great game. Great job. Good job. Good game. Good game. Game.